There we go. We've started recording. Good morning, everybody. We've got quite a bit to get through today. So we have reached the time of departure, but we're still expecting a few people. Let's hope that they join us later. Today we're going to deal with BIM 360 documentation and viewing and publishing. Well, first publishing and then viewing. And I think let's just jump right in for those of you who are not familiar with BIM 360. Right, so on the agenda today, we're going to deal with publishing. A lot of what we do in the architectural industry has to do with publishing PDF documents, Revit, as well as AutoCAD, and especially with Revit, but to a lesser extent in AutoCAD, the linking in of files and using these files then to generate views that we print. So if you can imagine a structural drawing and an architectural drawing, they work together to give the final result, and we're going to look at how that is done. Version control, so from one to the next drawing, what has changed or what is new, viewing that, and then creating some markups and issues. This is a relatively technical blog, but I hope it gives you a good overview. Firstly, with regards to publishing, there is support for quite a lot of file types, including IFC, DWG, that's a Revit file. The DWG is the AutoCAD file. The IFC file is a ubiquitous file for transferring between BIM packages. Revit files, PDF files, there's a lot of them that are supported, but the BIM 360 docs, of course, is done by Organise, and there's some really great tools that are available for these files. We can assign attributes to these files or metadata. We can organize and manage specific versions of the documents into sets. And Ineke says she cannot see anything. Share screen. Ineke, thank you for letting me know that. Can you see the screen now? I do apologize for that. So I see I am recording the screen and it is playing. I think let me just go back one slide. Ineke, if you can just let me know at any time if there are any issues over there. Thank you very much. So with regards to the agenda, we're going to look at publishing, specifically PDF, Revit, and AutoCAD publishing, version control, viewing, and markups and issues. Like I said before, BIM 360 docs can handle many types of files. We are going to focus on what is used to generate drawings for us. But in the documentation part of the BIM 360 platform, we can also handle things like Excel files and Word files. I've even tried an Access database back in the day. So there's lots of support for all different sorts of file types, depending on whether you're working in either the plans or the documents folder. We're going to look at object character recognition for title blocks, and then connecting to the BIM 360 workspace through the desktop connector. That's just an app that's kind of like Dropbox, and that will synchronize the files down onto your computer. Right, so starting with the PDF publishing. Now, don't be too confused by the technical jargon or the technical things that you see on the screen here. We're going to watch a video right after this that's going to explain it all. So for the technical guys out there, and I know there's some technical people watching this webinar, note the following. We've got optical character recognition, but when we do our title blocks, we want to put that into one corner, so because otherwise if we have an A0 page, it's a very large area from left, bottom left corner, top right corner, it's a very large area, and the object character definition likes to work over a small area. We can group all metadata to be extracted, okay? Print the PDF title block, that's the typical thing that we start doing. We add attributes to BIM 360 plans, we upload the title block, and then we map the metadata onto the title block OCR field. So we'll see that shortly in the video. It will all become clear. And then we've got the actual processing of the documents. We're printing your PDF sheets and merging them into a PDF file. Upload that file onto BIM 360 plans. We choose the title block, which we've already defined. And then what happens is the sheets are automatically extracted and then hyperlinked also through the view headers, and then we can create mockups and issues as per usual. Okay, so we're going to watch this video now. It's going to explain the process. So the first part of the process is that we define a title block. And as you can see, the title block is in the bottom right of the corner with all the information that I'm interested in there, including who the designer and the author and the info manager is. And that is a typical sort of workflow that we've got with Revit, where we put all the information, or not just with Revit, but in drawing in general, we put the information at the bottom right, and then we're going to want to know what that information is. We're going to print that. We print it to a PDF file. That's our title block. And the BIM manager for the project would roll this out for all the different disciplines. So you might find different companies, each one have their own title block, but each of those title blocks have certain information that we want to know, and so we want to extract that. This is not just an example of the sort of template micrographics title block that we're going to use to extract the data within BIM 360. When I created these videos, I tried to skip over the waiting times, so you might find that the video moves quite fast. It goes along quite quickly. And there we can see this is just a PDF creator. It's a free PDF printer that you can download and install. And what's nice about this one is it's great quality, and it's got an A0 file size that you can use as well. That converts it now into PDF, and that's what it looks like, 1:1. Okay. Then we're going to go into our BIM 360. Well, there's our downloads. There you can see the file that was created. You might have one for architecture and one for mechanical. The architectural one has already been uploaded. The mechanical one I'm going to discard because I've already got one of the title blocks on BIM 360 docs, but you'll see that I'll show how to start creating it. All right. So there, I'm in my plans folder. I'm uploading one of the title blocks there. I'm in the title blocks folder, and I'm uploading one of the title blocks. Okay, so here we're going to add attributes, and these attributes you have to define before the time. So if you know that there's some metadata that's going to be extracted within your title block, then you must say what that attribute is going to be, and you can define them as text fields, as date pickers, or as a drop-down menu. Okay. It's just showing how to create some metadata if you want, and then also that you can sort and switch on or off the attribute, but you are not allowed to delete it. You can always rename it, edit it, and rename it at a later stage, but once you've created an attribute, it's there for the rest of time, for now, until they manage that. But you can move the attributes around so that you can see them on the screen, order the drawings according to them, and maybe filter as well. There you can see the document sets. That's quite popular, and there we can order them according to the title. Okay, so first we have to create all the attributes that we'd like to extract from this drawing, and then we're going to load this drawing. That's the process: uploading, scanning for sheet numbers, reviewing results and layouts, and then extracting sheets and publish. That's a typical thing that happens every time that you upload one. In this case, I'm going to define a drawing template because I'd like to get the information, the metadata out of there. We can assign it to a set, a document set, which is might be a percentage complete, or it might be a phase of the building. That would be dictated by the BIM execution plan. And now it is busy extracting this drawing, after which it's going to ask us to define a template for it. Either select one or define one. We're going with the definition. I just want to show you how we would go about that. So all the company's drawings that are going to come in, we're going to get some information out of their title blocks. Okay, so we're going to crop. There's some tools at the bottom there that you can use, but we're going to crop the area from which we want to get the information. That isolates it like that for us, nice and big on the screen. And then we say next, and then we can start mapping where on the title block we are going to go for the information. So that's the name of the title block that we can enter. And then that's the number. That's a given for any drawing. That's the number of the drawing. So by default, we have to have a number and a title for the drawing. That is the title. And then we can add more attributes, and we can then select the attributes that we have created previously. And we then also just have to say what part of the drawing must the object character, the optical character recognition, where must it get that from? There's the sheet number, for instance, and so we carry on with this until we've got all the information out of that company's title block that we would like. Interestingly, if you look at the text that is rotated at 90 degrees, there we can also say that we want the text rotated, and we can then select that area, and it reads the information just like that into our metadata field. So why we do this, once again, is just so that different companies that work together on a project can have the same metadata extracted from their title blocks, even though the title blocks don't look the same. But when all of their drawings in PDF is downloaded, that is what they will see. If you guys have any questions at any time, just type it into the chat box. I am keeping a I am watching it throughout the presentation, and you're welcome to ask any questions if anything is unclear. Okay, no questions so far. That's great. All right, so that is then the title block for the company. You can always edit the title block afterwards. You can edit the name, you can open it, you can edit it. And you can also delete the title block and recreate the title block. I've had to do that before from time to time. If my title block changes dramatically, then I can always redefine it if I want afterwards. Of course, if documents have already been extracted according to that title block, then you might not be allowed to delete that. Then you can also get out of the title blocks page by clicking on that. And okay, so back in our Revit file, we've now prepared the title block in BIM 360, and now we'd like to have all of our drawings, and we'd like them to be processed in BIM 360 so that we can have one source of truth. Remember, that is what all of this is all about, is we'd like to have the information in the cloud so that there's no confusion across the entire supply chain or on site. And if people want to do markups and create comments, then everybody would like to see that at once in the cloud. There we're using some sets to say which drawings we would like to print. Remember, when you print your drawings in PDF, please just zoom to 100% size. Don't fit it to a page because that will scale. There I'm just doing a quick setup for the printer and the page, and then we're going to print that. So all of the pages of the same size A0 is going to print now. We're once again going to save that into a PDF file. You can see the separate files. No, it's not necessary. We can combine them into a single file, and then there's just one file to upload. What BIM 360 will do is it will extract all of those files independently. Okay, so after a little time has gone by and it's printed, then we can have a look at that PDF. There we can see it's a bunch of drawings that were created in the same PDF, and they have now been merged. Then we need to go into the cloud platform, and now we want to go to our publish folder where we'd like to publish that. I've created just some folder structure, and I'm going to upload that file with those drawings in it. And you can see that's the same process again that we've seen before: upload, scan for sheet numbers and names and so on. It's loading that in and initializing. It does take some time to process, depending also how large the files are or how complex their files are. and we can assign it to a document set, which means that we can always isolate that afterwards per set. And there we can see the layout template that we are going to use. That's a template that we have defined, and then we continue. And now what happens is it's processing these drawings. Like I said, this can take a little bit of time. So I'm just forwarding it, and then once it's done that, it will take out all of the drawings like that. Now immediately you can see on the screen there was a missing field, but in the top right of the screen you'll see that just now there's also a little slider that gives me a warning, hey, something's not so great here. And there I can see there's a missing field, and I look at that and I see, sure, I made a mistake. I published this splash page. I didn't want that, so I can delete that from the set that I'd like to publish. And then after all that is done, then we just say publish all. And what that now does is it puts that into the published folder, and that is now one source of truth. So that is our sharing these files via PDF, and that is going into the cloud. Now, interestingly, if you have a BIM 360 account, it doesn't have to be a BIM 360 design account. As long as you've got the BIM 360 docs license, you're still allowed to use Revit to save your file onto the cloud. And then the publishing settings and the publish method works exactly the same. So you choose which of your views you would like to publish. You'll see that later with the Revit file. Of course, with the PDF print, it's the same kind of idea in that you choose the drawings that you print, but it doesn't work through publish, it works through the printing command. There we can see the drawing has been uploaded. And what's very interesting is even though it's PDFs, it recognizes which drawings are hyperlinked to each other. So there's a section, and if you click on that section, it's going to open that section for you. Even though it's PDF based, it still understands that the views are interlinked with each other. It's a relational database, and that's the Revit file, of course, and that's kind of what it looks like. All right, so that's, in short, that's PDF publishing. Very powerful and lots of fun. I don't know if you like me, but I find this fun. And then, right, it seems that we're once again on that video, which is not where I want to be. Just finish up with that. Where are we now? Okay. I do apologize for that. It's my control of PowerPoint is not as good as what it should be. And the next item that's up is AutoCAD publishing. So I chose to choose it's a simple AutoCAD file, which I generated from some exports from Revit, but it does expose a more complicated workflow in the sense that we're going to see how one AutoCAD file is XREF'd into another file. So XREF, external references. Those of you that use AutoCAD will know these. You can see just quickly again, we'll see it on the video, but all layouts will be extracted. So in other words, there's no publishing available in AutoCAD, so what layouts they are will be extracted. The parent, which is the file containing the external reference, is not automatically downloaded with children as a compressed file. You'll see the difference between the AutoCAD file and the Revit file later. And you then have to download the parent and the children files separately from BIM 360 as a consequence. Upload as linked files to BIM 360 plans and assign the parent file status. Only the parent is shown in 2D. The children are not even shown at all. And then layouts are extracted as standalone documents. It's the equivalent of a Revit sheet. AutoCAD is known as a layout. And we're going to create some markups and issues as per usual. Right, again, we've got a video to show us this. It's a bit smaller than usual. But there, I hope you can see, there we are saving the AutoCAD files. Okay, so we're just opening the AutoCAD file to show how one is a reference, an external reference in the other one. All right, so that is an external reference that's come in from an external file. We've, for want of a better word, for those of you that only know Revit, we've linked in an AutoCAD file into an AutoCAD file. And there you can see the path. It's also on the BIM cloud. So that's in our projects file, our project files folder within BIM 360. That's where we work. The plans folder is where we publish. So these files are still within the working folder of BIM 360. And that's just showing you the path that I'm using for that file. I'm going to make the box a little bit bigger so you can see what's going on there. Here we go. And there is the folder structure that you can see. All right, so we're in the project files folder of BIM 360, and that is our working folder. Okay, so it's one AutoCAD file into another AutoCAD file, and next we are going to download these files, but it's not going to automatically zip them together. What it's going to do is download them individually. So we have to remember to download them individually. Just very quickly, I have done this before, so just to show you as well that you can delete files. I think it is a question that somebody might have. Delete files, and then after you've deleted them, you can always restore them again. So if you do delete files from your folder, you can also restore them. I'm just deleting these files from the folder so that I can show you how it would behave from a new. If I didn't delete them, then they would also upload, but just as a new version. So it would go from version 1 to version 2. Okay, so in this case, I've emptied the folder, or I'm emptying the folder. I'm deleting these files. There you can see it's version 1, and I'm going to get rid of those files. Can upload linked files again, and then it will go to version 2. Okay, but that's not what we're after in here. I just want to show you that you can upload from new. And there you can see the files that we are going to use. We're going to download those. If you have pop-ups in your browser, you have to disable them. It's a typical warning that comes up. And that is the structural file that is linked into the architectural file. So that one I also want to download. So unfortunately, I have to know which drawings I need to download, and each one of them individually. The Revit workflow is easier. Okay, and then if you go to our published folder, I'm going to get rid of those. Remember, if it was the same files and you'd like to keep a history of the files, then it will just go to version 2 when you upload them again. And there we see we can upload, or we can upload linked files. We go to our downloads folder. Those are the files that we downloaded, and then we push those up into the cloud. And we say yes. And here you can see it's understanding that one of them is the parent file. For us, we're lucky, it's automatically assigned it. And then we put the document set as well. And we continue. Okay, and once again, the files are processed. This time around, there's no object recognition, character recognition. It's just going to be some AutoCAD-based files. And once that is done processing, we'll see them appear there. From time to time, I do refresh the browser just to see if it's updated. Maybe, there we go. We can see there. It's not strictly speaking necessary, but I found with a variable internet connection, you might want to do that from time to time. Right, there are the files. Now you can see from the file name, that is the parent. The top one is the parent, and the other two are layouts. And when you open the layouts, we can see that even though only the parent is visible as a 2D view, it did bring the linked file in. So that is how we upload XREF AutoCAD files into BIM 360. Okay, now we get into Revit publishing. This is, the computer's got a bit of a lag on it. There we go. That's still two. There's one. There we go. Now we get into Revit publishing. Again, we're going to watch a short movie afterwards. You can see we can extract 2D sheets from Revit files. It's a very interesting one, this. And for those of you that use BIM 360, it's going to be an adjustment depending on how you work. But Revit 2021 no longer supports a saving to a BIM 360 plans folder. It's just a heads up. And then we're going to set the publish settings. We're going to synchronize and publish. That's the typical workflow. And then if we had used work shared files, then they would also go through the design collaboration process, because the other silos, if we're the architect, then the structural engineers and mechanical engineers would also need their files, and your file for them to work with. And then after that, we download the source file. And in this case, it's better than AutoCAD because the children are automatically zipped into a folder with the parents. Extract that from the zip file. We upload the linked files to BIM 360 plans. Again, we assign the parent file status, and then the sheets and the views are extracted as standalone documents, and models are not shown. Sheets are automatically hyperlinked by view headers, just like with the PDFs, and we can generate markups and issues as usual. And this is a video of how to do that. This video is a bit bigger. I hope you can see what is happening on the screen there. So the first thing to do is to do the publish settings. And remember, if you have a BIM 360 docs license, you don't have to have a work shared file. You can still do this workflow, even though it's just a standalone Revit file that you're working on. So you can work as an individual on the BIM 360 docs folders, not with team members, but you can still do the same workflow and choose which of the views and the sheets you would like to upload into the cloud. Then we would synchronize. And that synchronization, in this case, we work sharing. So the synchronization will show our team members what's going on. And then after that, we're going to publish. And when we publish, that is when the rest of the supply chain that's got access to this file in BIM 360 will see this file. Okay, so these structural elements, I must maybe just mention that the structural elements of this file are typically in green, they're concrete, and that is via a linked Revit file called the structural model, and that is within my project. So again, you don't have to have a worksheet file. You can still publish from or manage your cloud models, and then you can publish the latest versions up into the cloud. This is how you do that. That's how you can publish this file. When it's done publishing, it will give you a little green sign like that. Right. So we're just choosing the architectural file and we're saying download source file. Okay. When we do that, it's going to take all of the children along, the structural file, in other words, that's now getting compressed into a zip file. And once that is downloaded, then we extract the files from that zip file, and all of the Revit files that we linked in are then extracted there. There we can see them in that folder there. There's all the linked files that are coming in. Now we only need the architectural and the structural files for this drawing. So those are the only two that I'm going to upload. Otherwise, the other ones are going to take longer. So in my plans folder, where I'm going to publish my documents, that's where I go to the Revit folder and I'm going to upload linked files. And then I choose the architectural as well as the structural files. There's the architectural file that I'm interested in. There's the structural file that I'm interested in, and I load them onto the cloud. Okay, we give it a bit of time. There it goes. Now, I may just mention in the background that I have uploaded DWG files and PDF files and Revit files into the same folder. The files are called the same thing, and BIM 360 doesn't have a problem with that. So if you're after one source of the truth, I would recommend you work according to a BIM protocol. And if you work to the BIM protocol, then you would state that if you are using Revit, then you must upload either PDF or Revit files, and the same thing with your AutoCAD files as well. At least that way, the supply chain will know exactly with what file type they must go ahead and work, so that there's only one version of that file on the cloud. That's the only place that I can think of where there might be some confusion in this process. But if one follows a properly laid out BIM protocol, then that should be fine. Okay, there you can see all the drawings have been extracted, all the sheets have been extracted, and the metadata has not been extracted. Right, so that's the disadvantage of using the Revit way, in that you're still going to have to fill in the metadata separately. For this reason, I like using PDF files. It's my preferred way of working with published files, simply because I can, or one can gain access to all the extracted metadata immediately. When you open the file, this is what it looks like, and I just want to show you once again that the different views are hyperlinked into each other through the drawing headers. That's the elevation, and that is the section. And once again, clicking on the section, just like we did with the PDF, that will then open that sectional view, and we can also return to an earlier view. Right. Anybody with access to this folder, they would be able to view this file like this, and they would be able to navigate through the model like this. Very powerful. You can use that on an app for an iPad and a cell phone, although a cell phone is very, very small. And or if you have a computer-like device, then that would probably be preferable if you can have a screen that's bigger. Okay, we get to version control. I know we're probably getting towards the end of the presentation. I hope we finish in time. Let's just see. The version control, we can track the updates, including automatic slip sheeting. So that is, for instance, a document is now within this set, and then later on it's in a new set, and you would like to know when was it in which set. Okay, so that's what they mean by slip sheeting, to maintain the current set. Okay, view previous versions and compare versions. You'll see that in a video again. Single viewer for both 2 and 3D design files. You can see markups. First they're private while you're working on them, and then you can make them public so that others can see them. You can create issues, document issues. There are two sorts of issues, document issues and field issues. Field issues are based on another platform in BIM 360, so we're going to deal with document issues, and you can assign them to a person, a role, or a company. Then there's a viewer available for your Android and Apple devices, and you can also see some other design files, PDFs, and photographs to various extents depending on what you're doing. And so I hope this is, again, a nice large video. It's small again, but I hope you can see what's going on. All right, so what I'm showing at the moment here is that we can make some changes to the model, of course, from one share to the other share. I'm adding some walls there. That wall I'm deleting, and that I'm picking a new host for. And in some of the other walls, I've just changed some metadata, and where I've given the wall a new mark or a new name. And one can even put them in different phases. So the different phases, they don't really show up because this is how it's going to print. Okay, so it's maybe a good thing to see as well that if you change the phasing of that view, then you're not going to see that within the drawing comparison. But if you do a model comparison, which you can also do, then you will see the difference. The model comparison is what we do within the design part of BIM 360, and that's not part of this webinar, but it is possible. We follow the same process again. We do the publish settings, then we synchronize, and then we manage the cloud models and we publish those so that it's visible to the rest of the supply chain. I'm going to delete some of those files from my downloads folder. They're only temporary anyway. Remember, they exist in BIM 360 docs. Doesn't matter if they're on my C drive, they're in docs. And they'll automatically be synchronized back onto my hard drive if I work with them through the desktop connector. That's like Dropbox. And after we've done that, we manage the cloud models again. Just to reiterate, even though you're not work sharing your files, you can still do this. It's the same workflow. Now that we can save standalone files into BIM 360 docs, then we publish that. And once that's done publishing, then we can download the source files from BIM 360 docs again. Remember, the parent and the children automatically get grouped together with Revit files. It's very convenient because you don't have to work with so many files. Here I am in short coordination models. No, sorry, that's a different part of the workflow. I'm in the wrong folder. I should be in the design collaborate folder there. Let's have a look. There's the design collaboration folder. There we go. All right, so there's going to be my architectural file. And again, it's the same process than before. Here you can see it's still busy updating on BIM 360 docs. So in the meantime, see there's another bit of the video editing. I didn't get this perfect, but again, just making some changes to the file, picking a new host and making some changes to that file. And if you change the phasing, of course, in this workflow, it's not going to impact your comparison between models so much because it's only what you are printing that you are looking at. I'm just going to forward the video a bit. And we've deleted that. Here we go. Okay, there it was busy updating. Now it is updated. So then we can download the zip file. Once again, we extract the zip file and we upload the linked files up into Revit. That's going to be now the second iteration of what we're doing. So that's going to create a new version for us. So all of this is not to repeat what we've done before, though. It does show the process, but it's showing that we can make changes to the model, and then we can upload the files again, after which we are going to get an increase in the version number. You can see it's version 1. This time I'm not deleting like with AutoCAD files, I'm just uploading the linked files again. And then the version will go from version 1 to version 2. Takes a little time to process. And then when we upload now, still not done. We have a look at the publish log. It will tell us at the top there, you can see it's still busy extracting. There we can see it's extracting. So it's not finished yet, but we can carry on doing some other things within BIM 360 docs. while that is busy extracting. Okay. One of those things that you can send a XML file to yourself that you can see what's happening in the document log, what's happened to it. There you can see what that would look like. It's an Excel spreadsheet, and it looks like that. It tells you what's happened latest. And then if you, it's even hyperlinked, so if you open that, then it will open that on the BIM 360 Docs platform. And then you can see the document itself if you sign in. Okay. Now we've opened the file. There's some nice things that we can do with viewing. We can actually place, just like a camera view in Revit itself, we can go place ourselves onto that view somewhere. And there we can see the 3D, there's WASD, controls, Q and E for up and down. You can teleport, you can look around, and you can adjust the speed. And there's some nice things to do over there. And then you can navigate this model, have a look at what it's like, what's busy happening. There I'm in a sliver space, there I'm out of it. Right. It's only showing me the architectural elements, not the structural file. If you wanted to navigate the file in 3D like that, it would be better to look at an aggregate file and then navigate that in a 3D view. You can also split the view. There you can see a nice big 3D view. You can change that view out. I prepared for the ground floor, I prepared a short 3D view that was cropped, just to show you that if you select something in one view, there I select the door, then it zooms in on that door. And if I switch on the properties for the door, then I can see the properties as well. There's lots of tools that are available in here. You can also use a split view. You can choose the version that you want to work with. See, it's version 2 versus version 1. You compare them, and then it will tell me what's new, what's been removed, and what's been modified. So anything that metadata has been changed, say the mark of the door has changed, then it will tell me it's been modified. That's very nice because now if I'm the architect, I can see what the structural engineer has changed. And if the architect, if it's vice versa, if the structural engineer has changed something, then I can see that on the architectural side as well. So just from a design perspective, it's very useful to know what people have changed. There, I'm just showing you can roll back to an earlier version and make that the current version. You can do that to files. course, you must have permission to do so. There are 6 different permissions that you can apply within a folder, either by user, by role, or by company. And then you can also add hyperlinks to documents either within the plans or the documents folders. So we're going a little bit over question time. I don't think this video is too much longer. Why is it frozen now? Here we go. Right, so there's the hyperlink. If you hover over the hyperlink, then you can see the hyperlink that you can navigate to. Okay. There we can see that. Okay. Then we've got markups that we can create. The markups are visible for everybody. Once we've made it public, that's got access to this folder. If we don't like that, we cancel it. We create another call out there. And that's available for everybody to see online. They can access it through their phones, through their iPads and devices that they've got. There we can make them public, published. Can also choose to show them or not. So if they clutter up the view, then we can change them. There we can edit them. So you can edit them and change what they look like. You can change the pen thickness and the color that you are using. You've got some nice lines to draw with, clouds, even dimensions. Right. And then you can see the information about the markup on the left there. What's nice as well is there's a home screen for guys that have got the BIM 360 Docs license, and on the home screen everything is actually itemized. So if you have some issues that's been assigned to you, you will see immediately when you wake up in the morning, got some issues that have been assigned to you that you need to go and answer or resolve, and so it gives you feedback. In addition to that, you can subscribe to folders if you have access to them, and then everything that happens in that folder you will be notified. So there's some great tools available to always be aware of what is happening in the cloud. You can see that we can manage those markups on the cloud. There we've archived them. Once it's been archived, then you know it's been done. Okay, you would change the status of the markup as it goes through the process of being resolved. There we go with issues. We can create issues. So they've combined the field and the documents issues into one control here. Just be aware that some of what you see over here is only going to be within the field document, but typically it works very much the same within the documentation issues as well. They're not project issues, they're just document issues. And what's nice about issues in comparison to markups is that you can assign them to somebody. You can say that person, in this case I've assigned it to myself, but if you were in a supply chain, you could say that person is responsible for doing something by a certain time. And that's great. So if you want to combine that with a markup, then create a markup and put an issue there and assign the issue. So the person to whom the issue has been assigned can then resolve the markup at the same time. Okay, you can put a description there. And as the issue goes along, it then tracks along as well. This works really well. We tested this with one of the companies that was interested in the technology. And what I found at that stage was when I was traveling on the bus early in the morning, then I would answer the questions on the iPad that I had on me, and I was very impressed in how it can create and resolve issues like that. Raise any questions that become available on the documentation, and send that out throughout the entire supply chain. There we can see, you can download it as a PDF as well if you want to send that on to somebody else. And we can put some attachments on there, and we can see all the activity that happened with that throughout its lifetime. So if I want to browse to a picture, I can even upload it from my computer. So if I have a mobile device with a camera, I can take pictures with the mobile device, and I can upload that into the issue as well. That's typically for the field issues. So you might find that that is not available. Here we go. Status as well that you can change. Okay, we're almost at the end of the webinar. Okay, I just want to show you that there's lots of things up there as well that you can see that you can do with the file. You can delete them, you can share them with other people as well, but then they must have access to the folder. So it's a common question. Can you share these documents with outside parties? And the answer is no, unless they've got access to the folder to begin with. But if they have the ability to download from the folder, then of course they would be able to mail that out further from there. So I think the idea would be that anybody and everybody that needs access to these documents, they've got that by virtue of their docs license. Sorry, excuse me. All right, so lastly, there is a BIM 360 trial that's available at the moment until the 30th of June. It's been running for the last 2 or 3 months. And Autodesk has released this with the lockdowns around the world in mind. And you can follow any one of these links. The FAQ is great. The health dashboard, that just helps you to see if any services are offline. Of course, this technology is based on Amazon server farms, either in Europe or in the United States. We recommend Europe because it's closer to South Africa in its laws. And then also, you know, there's a lot that's available online, including the help files. And if you need any help with BIM 360, or if you'd like to try it and understand it better, or if you have any questions, then please contact us. And it's definitely technology that people are adopting now that we're working from home. A lot of people are working from home and during the lockdown, but also the technology itself lends itself to working from home. And you can see how you are connected to other people. With that, I'm going to thank you very much and open to questions if anybody has any questions. I'm not seeing anything in the chat here. All good, Charles? Vincent, mostly micrographics guys. Right, just let me know if you guys have any questions. Until next time then, have a great day. Keep safe.
Thank you, Paul. Bye.
Bye.